Hi, I'm Julie. I'm the owner of Fitimize, and I help people feel safe in their bodies using trauma-informed movement. I hope you enjoy this video. Have a lacrosse ball handy. Please grab it. If not, that's okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with rolling out the bottom of your feet or tapping at the bottom of your feet. So we can do it together. I'll show you how to get started with the ball. Basically, it's really simple. All you're gonna do is you're going to start with rolling out the bottom of your foot. So you're gonna go the length from the big toe all the way to the heel and just go back and forth, okay? So if you don't have a ball, what you're gonna do is sit on the floor and you're gonna use your thumb. So you're just gonna take your thumb or your hand and you're gonna rub right down the length of the foot, okay? So you're just gonna try to loosen up that fascia. So you can also take the ball and do that as well and use your hand to rub, like so. So whatever you have access to, your thumbs, a ball, whatever kind of tool you have access to, I just want you to loosen that up. So what I want you to do to start off is think about, now that we've done the length, now what I want you to do is there's 5 segments of the foot I want you to focus on. So there's point number 1 right at the base of the toes, area number 2 right in the middle of the foot, area number 3 is the heel, area number 4 is the inside of the foot, and area 5 is the outside of the foot. So what I'd like you to do is that if you're standing and using the ball, I want you to stand and you're gonna stay on that spot, and all you're gonna do is flex and extend the toes. Put some pressure on that spot, flex and extend. Do that about 5, 6, 7, 8, I don't know, it doesn't matter how many times. And then I want you just to roll the ball side to side as such, okay? Then what you're gonna do, if you don't have the ball, then what I want you to do is you're gonna press and manipulate that spot, and so you can go the center and work your way up to the toes and just try to put some pressure and then hold it there and then move your toes around, okay? Just take your time with it. You know, you can do it with me as I'm doing here, okay? If you need a little bit more time, please spend there, but I'm gonna move on to the middle. So I'll just do these by pressing. So same thing, right in the middle of the foot, feel if there's any tender spots, anything like that. Press, 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 press. Again, flex and extend the toes, move them as much as possible as you're holding that center spot. Now we're gonna go to the heel. Again, if I have the ball, I'm gonna hold and press that spot in the heel and flex and move the toes around as much as possible. I can corkscrew or just use my thumbs yet again. Now I'm gonna go to the inside of my foot here, just the inside, pressing down, okay? Again, moving my feet, moving my toes around as such, okay? And then the outside, manipulate the outside of my toes here. Great. Now what I want you to do is I want you to take your fingers, so if you're standing, please sit, and I want you to take your fingers and place them in between each of your toes. Okay, so if this is the first time doing it, this might feel a little bit foreign and a little bit gnarly, but what I want you to do is just start moving the toes around as best you can, keeping those fingers in between each toe, and all I want you to do is just start twisting and flexing and extending and moving your toes and getting them familiar with opening and being as wide as the foot. Okay, so we want our toes to be as wide as the foot here. Okay, so just play with that. Now I want you to twist the foot, manipulate all the tissues as best you can so your brain and your nervous system understands that the foot can move in all these different directions and that it's safe, okay? So if you are used to, if you're someone that gets a lot of ankle sprains, so understanding that ankle sprains is you're not grounded, it's connected to not being grounded, and so this is by you focusing on grounding yourself and giving yourself the opportunity to feel connected to someone or to the earth in particular. This is a great way to like use your sensory input to just try to let your feet know that, you know what, you are safe, you are grounded, and this is how we get better at it, okay? So as you do this now, I want you just to hold the hold the fingers and then manipulate the top of your foot. So brush your fingers right in between each metatarsal here and just kind of like open up the tissues here, okay? So you're just gonna move that. If you wanna put your foot, down and just try to move the tissues on the top of the foot, the fascia. It's very important on the top of the foot as well as the bottom, okay? So then what I want you to do is you're gonna move inside of your ankle here. So what I want you to do is there's a nerve here that gets stuck, especially if you have a lot of sprained ankles, there's a nerve that can get stuck here. So what we wanna do is we just wanna loosen that up. So if you have your ball handy, what you could do is just corkscrew, move the tissues on the inside of the ankle below the malleolus and just try to loosen that up a little bit, so that'll help you with dorsiflexion, which means pushing off the floor with your big toe. Okay, so when you do that, like I notice that I'm like, now I'm getting a little bit more crunchy, so that means I'm getting a little bit more mobility in my ankle, which is what we're looking for. Because then what we're gonna do is we're gonna finish off with some stability exercises. Okay, great. So how does that feel? Pretty good. So now let's do one stability exercise before we move on to the other leg. So what I want you to do is an ankle carve. So holding the knee nice and tight, I want you to point your toe down as far down as you can, and then I want you to rotate it in and then bring it up to the sky and then rotate it away and around, up and around. Okay, do that a couple, 3, 4, 5 times. Make sure the toes point with you. Slower is better. You want some tension in your body. You want to try to make sure you're doing this from the ankle and not from the knee. So this knee joint will want to move with you. So you want to lock that in. Mine likes to cheat and do the work for my ankle. We want to get that ankle mobility back and let the brain know, okay, you know what, we can ground. You don't have to, this is our foundation of our movement. You don't need to lock down and immobilize so that it's a protection thing a lot of times. So we just want to let the brain know and the nervous system know that, you know, it's okay, we're safe. Then we do the other foot, okay? So if you want to start, we're going to start with rolling. So we roll out the whole bottom of the foot. So I'm going to just do it with my hand here, just so you can see what this looks like. Okay, so we roll from big toe to heel, middle toe to heel, third toe to heel, fourth toe to heel, and pinky toe to heel. Okay, spend that time on area number 1. I'm just going to use my thumbs for this. I'm going to press down and manipulate, hold down, move my toes around, wiggle it, wiggle it, wiggle it. Okay, and just notice the tingling that you're feeling on this opposite leg. You should feel some tingling and some blood flow going there. So that's fantastic. That's what we're looking for. So we're just going to have this happen on this side of the foot. So now hold in the middle, move those toes up and around. Okay, and then let's go to the heel, press down, move the toes up and around. Manipulate the tissues. You can tap. I didn't tap on the other side, but you can certainly tap. All these different movements are fantastic. So it doesn't, you know, like twisting. The brain loves it, loves novelty. Just figure out which one works for you. Now let's go to the inside of the foot. It's a little bit tender for me here. So I'm gonna work on moving that tissue a little bit, and then go to the outside of the foot, moving those tissues around. And that's awesome, okay? Good work. So we can just manipulate and see if there's any tender spots there. So obviously if you're standing and using gravity with the ball, it might feel a little bit different, and that's cool. So go to the level that works for you. Now we're gonna go fingers in between the toes. So if this is your first time, like I said, stick with the first knuckles. If this is your, you know, you're more advanced, move down to the lower knuckles of your hands to try to spread the toes a little bit more. And notice the difference between your right and your left. Can you spread all the toes evenly? Is there any like burning sensation? Is it tight? Is it stiff? The toes aren't used to being spread this far. It's very common because we spend so much time in toe coffins, i.e. shoes that are too small for our feet. So, you know, it's about, you know, proper footwear is just as important as making sure that we're doing the movements to allow our feet to express themselves as we see fit. So twisting the tissues. And I feel a little bit stiffer on this side, so that's something I might can spend a little bit more time on that, but just compared to my other leg, definitely a little bit more protection happening on my right side. So just something to note, right? So it's like, okay, I like talk to myself, let myself know, okay, my right side is my masculine side, so it's my boundaries. So my boundaries are being immobilized a little bit because it's a little bit stiffer. So something I need to discuss with myself during my meditations or with my coach. Now let's go to the inside of the ankle here, rub that up, okay, open up that, and then you can move the ankle around, open up that nerve, give it a little love. This is fantastic for the lymph as well, so if you're noticing any swelling in your ankle, this will help release some of that swelling in the ankle here, okay? And then, oops, I forgot the toes in between. Come back, come back, come back. And rub in between each metatarsal here. Rub, 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 rub. Feels so good. So also know that this is my foot that's tattooed. So just something to know about tattoos and scars. They can inhibit some movement. So because my whole foot's tattooed on this side, this could also be a reason why my body's protecting me, because it's just immobilizing. It's a scar tissue, so that's why I need to spend a little bit more time giving some love to this foot and the tissues here to make them mobile and flexible. Okay, and then let's finish off with that cars. So holding the knee, point the toe down, rotate that toe in, up to the sky, and all the way around to the best of your ability. Take your time. It's not about speed, it's all about control. Okay, don't forget your breathing. Up and around. And let's go the other way. Rotate up and around. Good. Up and around. I'm going to do one more. Up and around. And let's just finish off with a couple more things. make sure we get that more stability in the feet. So I want you just to connect. So remember, a lot of times when we have a lot of ankle sprains, it's because we're not grounding. That root chakra is not connecting to the earth. So we want to spend some time connecting. So if you're not barefoot yet, please do so. Make sure you are doing this barefoot. So what I want you to do when you're marching, get the opposite arm or opposite leg going. Point the toe down, point, 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 and make sure you land toe heel, toe heel. So your big toe is the important part here. I want you to step out, step in, out, in, out, in, out, in. Now I was leading with the right, now I'm gonna lead with the left. Left, right, left, right, right, left. Good, now step forward and back. Shifting your weight, again, landing toe heel on all of these. Very important, okay? So we don't wanna land on your heel just right now, because when you land on your toes and then step back, it allows your midline and your core to activate. So we want to make sure that core is activating. And take a peek at your feet. Are you keeping your feet straight? Are they turned out at all? Are they turned in? So we want to keep them as straight as possible. Okay, and there's going to be other exercises that we can do to work on keeping them straight and mobilizing that. So now just stop, rock up on your toes, back and forth. So if you're not up, ready to go up on your toes, you can just lean forward and lean back. This is fantastic for the brainstem. So this motion is all about brainstem, and then we can go side to side. This is for the limbic part of your brain. Whoosh, whoosh. So pretend like you're in a windstorm. Good. And then we can go around in a circle, but try to go from the ankles. Okay, so a lot of times people do this, like move the upper body. So try to move from the ankles, just kind of like, think of like a tornado or a twister, and you're going around and you're moving from your feet, shifting your weight to the outsides of your feet, to the inside, to the front, and to the back, around. Good. Now, if you can, come up and back on the heels. Up on the toes, back on the heels. So if you're still off balance, that's okay, but you should start feeling a little bit more grounded. And now feet go out, feet go in, out, in, out, in, out, in. Lift the heel and dig the toes in. So a little bit more again, like a circular pattern, and then reverse it, making sure you're hard into the floor with the toes. That's really what's important here. Okay, lift the heel on the other side, roll around, roll around, roll around. Good job. Let's go the other way, other way, other way. Awesome. Now, if you can, roll forward. So put the toes down, and then you're gonna roll that hip forward. So your fascia is actually connected from the top of your foot to your hip. So I'm gonna add some little rotations of your body. Okay, so dig the toes in. So when I go slow-mo, it's basically dig the toe in, I'm gonna rotate around. Okay, so I'm pushing hard with my foot. So I'm trying to bring the outside of my ankle down towards the floor, and I rotate. Remember, wherever your eyes go, your body will follow. Okay, so if that's too much for you, go to where you can, but make sure you're on a surface that your feet, if your foot is not used to that surface of being pushed down, this might be a little bit tough for you right now, and that's okay. But just want to get used to rolling the ankle forward, so that if you ever get caught in these positions, you're ready for it. And that's why we practice this, and that's why we do these as often as possible. So I tend to do these when I'm standing in line, so no one really knows that you're doing this. I might not add the twist, but I'll certainly add that rotation here. Now what I want you to do is go up on the toes, and I want you to walk around. Just walk around on your toes, 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 toes. Good. Now walk on the heels. Walk on your heels, and notice what that feels like. So if there's some pain or stiffness or anything like that, then just know that that's actually coming up from your hip. Okay, let's go the outsides of your feet. Walk on the outsides of your feet. And again, the reason we're practicing this is because if you're ever caught in this position, your brain, your nervous system is familiar with this, and we've worked on it. So it's like, oh yeah, I've trained that range of motion, so okay. Go the insides of your feet. Okay, a little bit more awkward. Yes, definitely, but that's okay. Now what I want you to do is just stand, and what we're going to try to do is feel grounded. So when you just stand, I want you to think about 3 points, so a foot tripod. So think about the point right at the base of the foot, big toe, the baby toe, and your heel. So when you're standing, just notice, can you stand on all 3 points evenly? So a lot of times, some people will feel like more the big toe and the heel, they're leaning slightly to one side, or the other side, or leaning more forward. You don't really feel your heel connecting with the ground, or you feel your heels only, such as in plantar fasciitis, and you don't feel the front of your foot. So that means the weight is sitting back. So we just want to find that tripod, okay? Now just grounding yourself here. Just take a deep breath in, and exhale. Now what I'm going to try to do is lift the big toes only. Go ahead and lift those big toes again and hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put them down. Now lift all the other toes. Again, focusing on that tripod. Okay, when you lift those toes, focusing on that tripod, the toes are up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put it down. Lift the big toes. Focus on tripod. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All the other toes. 5. Lift and spread. 3, 2, 1. Now lift all of your toes, and now just put the big toes down. Okay, lift. Now lift everything, and then put all the other toes down. So you should feel this more on the top of your foot, maybe in the front of your ankle. Lift everything up, and then put your big toes down. Good, lift up, and then put all the toes down. Good, lift up. Now try to strum your toes. Up and strum. Up and strum. Good work. Now shake that out a little bit. Shake that out a little bit. Fantastic. Okay, one final one we'll do for this routine is the ball between the heels. If you have a bigger ball or a towel or a yoga block, fine. All fantastic. Make sure your feet are straight. If you need to hold on to something, please do so, because what we're going to do is activate your midline and get your ankles and your core firing. So what you do is squeeze the ball with your heels, and all you're going to do is you're going to slowly come up, whoop, and then come back down. Come all the way up as high as you can, and then come back down. Try to hold it. Up, whoop. I'm losing my balance here. Up and down. Good. Up. Squeeze the ball and down. And notice if you lean like I am, I'm leaning to my weaker side, my tighter side. So I need a little bit of support on my right side. So I'm just trying to get my nervous system to know, okay, by squeezing the ball, I can go up on my toe, leaning to the right. So that's my weak link. Like I said, I could feel it. And just notice. So we want to keep, so I want to ensure my feet, my big toes are straight. So if you do have bunions, such as myself, you want to keep sure those toes are straight, ground it, and then come on up and squeeze. So push the toes down. So it's all about getting some stability in the toes and in the ankles. This is how we do it. Really simple, really effective exercise. You can almost do this like seated, like sit down and underneath your chair, just lift your heels, pressing your toes into the ground. Do it underneath your desk. Sneaky little movement there. Cool. All right, perfect. That's a fantastic foot routine to get you stabilizing your toes and your ankles. Hopefully you feel a little bit more connected to the earth. Fantastic day.